Levi is also known as Matthew. He has a job working for the Romans in terms of taxes. And it was commonly known at the time that those tax collectors often took a little extra off to the side for themselves. They were not respected. They worked for the Romans who had power over them. They took this for themselves. They had wealthy homes. They were privileged. Some would say they had everything. And yet, today, Jesus comes to Levi, to Matthew, and he says it so powerfully and so directly, "Follow me." And he was willing to do that. We have no idea if Levi, Matthew, had heard Jesus one time or a number of times. We don't have any of that. We don't have those details. We just know the culminating point. Follow me. When I was working in the seminary in Rome, the North American College, the seminarians had a favorite painting, and it's of this gospel passage. Because in the city, St. Louis of the French, or San Francese, there's a church there where there's a painting of this by Caravaggio, a great Renaissance painter. Caravaggio works with light and darkness all the time, so you can tell right away what he's trying to teach you, even if you don't know all the details. And he has Levi, Matthew, sitting at a table, plenty of money all around, group of friends all around, or co-workers. They've all got their jobs there. Jesus at the doorway of this room, and there's a shaft of light that comes in. And Jesus just points to Levi, to Matthew. It's like a moment frozen in time. And Caravaggio is showing Jesus is calling him, and now what does Levi, Matthew do? The money's all there, people all around, and he chooses to follow Jesus. And as a result, we hear the rest of the story today. Almost immediately, Matthew, Levi, is willing to bring Jesus into his home with other tax collectors and whoever else is invited there. And again, Pharisees are questioning this. There was not much respect for tax collectors. How could they be considered good people? How could they be people worthy to follow Jesus, worthy of God? And here Jesus just shows very much the simple thing about who needs God, who needs a doctor. People who have health ailments need a doctor. Sinners need God. That's what was happening with Matthew. He was aware of how he had drawn away from God. Not just people, but there had to be something else for him to follow him so immediately. And so in our lives, we're invited to do the same thing, because a lot of times we're thinking, we're praying over things, and then we got to make decisions. For example, in our parish now, we've been inviting people to come to Alpha and experience with other parishioners and other people who are not even Catholic, friends and neighbors and whoever it might be, co-workers, coming together. And now we're doing it virtually, and yet an experience, even virtually, to meet each other, to discover what's going on in a person's life, what's going through them to make the next decision in faith. And I would suggest to you, if you know of perhaps yourself, the other day we had someone asking me, he says, well, can we do it? Our work as Catholics. I said, of course we can. Who of us can't grow deeper in our faith? Who of us doesn't want to? And you'll find as you go through that, I've talked to so many people who have gone through that experience. They've gone to the next step in their faith relationship with God, in the parish here, and wherever God is calling them to do. So this morning, I invite you to pray for anyone you know who maybe is ready to take the next step, who maybe God is calling, whatever way it is. And as we do this, to be aware that this is how the Lord invites you and me to be disciples of Jesus.